Ladies and gentlemen, we have made it to Season 20, the first round on F125. And it is bigger, better, bolder than ever before. I'm hyped up. You're hyped up. These drivers are hyped up. And we're going to go racing for 22 laps around the Belgian Grand Prix circuit in F&D case, giving us our first donut of the evening. Well, we had two preseason events before tonight at Hungary and Saudi Arabia, but now this is the real deal. 13 are here right now. We're expected to get a few more, and this is round one of season 20. Right now you are looking at most of the full-time drivers. We do have some reserves here tonight. We'll go over that in just a second. My name is Camden Luca, and I will be in the booth all season long, because where else would I be on a Tuesday night? This is the place to be if you want to watch F125 racing on a Tuesday night. And right now we are looking at the newly given Haas driver of Gio, the 20th driver to join the grid this season, and he puts up the first lap of the night with a 42.706. And just for reference, the TCR qualifying lap record is a 40.741, which was put down by B-Tom all the way back in season 11, and we will see if this record will get broken. But Mac T is getting closer to that record with a 41.546, and I gotta say, that's a pretty good lap by the Alpine driver, the Williams. If you have followed TCR in the past, ladies and gentlemen, you will recognize this name. Rafa Hulk is back as a reserve tonight, the season 14 Silver Class champion, and do not ask me who he beat to win that championship. Coming to the finish line is Chargers, and we saw Chargers have a lot of speed in preseason. He's a former TCR champion as well. You got to pat him on the back for that. Chargers finishes up his lap there with a 43.829. I do see Rafa, and I see J&B in the comments, and I do just want to take a look and see if Mr. J&B is online, because I've heard from the grapevine that we may be getting a J&B sighting today, may be getting a Capitan sighting, depending on scheduling, but we will see when that happens. Oh, I thought I didn't have audio there for a second. It's all good. We got the audio that we need. One driver we have yet to see in preseason that we are seeing right now is F1 Nerd. And I was actually talking with F1 Nerd before the race tonight, and let's just say I've probably put in more laps than he has, so, you know, maybe getting some of the rust off, maybe taking the towel and really getting off all the rust from the off season, but nonetheless, he has put in a time of a 43.867. As of now, Mac T, the new Alpine driver to the grid for season 20, he has the fastest lap, and if you take a look at the board on the left-hand side of your screen, he has got it by 0.6 of a second. Gio says he's running 0-0 wings. You know, I wouldn't be putting my setup information out there on the, you know, I was going to say the black market. This is not the black market, but I wouldn't be putting it out there. But, you know, if you're good enough of a driver, then setups, they really don't matter that much. Oh, you put it in the Discord. Okay, that's fair. You know, if you shared it with the Discord, then that's what it's all about, though, right? If you're able to share setups with people, then that's great. That's what this is all about. And, ladies and gentlemen, you are seeing it at the bottom of your screen. B-Tom has just joined the lobby. He will be racing with us tonight in his bid for his 50th win in TCR. And we'll see if he can do that tonight. Well, I had talked in season 19 about maybe putting a light, you know, sports betting system in play, maybe a fantasy championship for TCR. Hasn't quite come to play yet, but, you know, if I were a betting man, I would definitely bet on B-Tom. But this guy you got to bet on right here, Seafreeze, the former 3-time champion, is P5 on the board out of the 10 guys who have put it in. Yes, put the fries in the bag. Don't say anything else, just put the fries in the bag. You know, Gio, if I don't do a good enough job here in the booth, that may be where I'm going. I may be putting the fries in the bag. I don't have much competition, though. I'm the only guy here in the booth, so. But I like it. I like doing this. I raced in TCR for 7 seasons, I think. But, yeah, this is a good place to be, so. Hopefully the Nightbot does not interrogate the Twitch side of things. We did have a bit of an annoyance last week, I noticed, on the Twitch side of things with the Nightbot, and he is giving us plenty of updates, but it is good to just at least see what the Nightbot has in store, because the Nightbot does share all of our social media platforms, which we do regularly update. It's not the type of thing to where you post one beach picture and then you wait 4 months and then you post another one. We are always on there every week posting updates about the race and about the podcast. And if you did not see that, Season 20 preview did get uploaded this morning. So if you're at the gym, if you're eating breakfast, if you're on the toilet, you know, the podcast, it's a great way to kind of just stay distracted, you know. It's so easy to get bored nowadays, especially if you're on the toilet. So feel free to check that out. Really, your car wasn't going past 4th gear, Whale. That might be a you issue, because I have not heard about that yet. That's really interesting. Bats Plus, he puts in a lap time. He gets in the 42s. And fun fact about Bats, he is a former champion, but he runs on a pad, and he has always done this. And I was just talking with him before the race as well, and you know, I think he's got his setup down. I think he's going to be up there going for the podium. But if you do follow TCR and you have watched previous streams, you should know that if I pick you in my podium prediction, it's probably not a good thing. So hopefully I don't pick Bats, but we'll see. If you're too quick, then I might just have to pick you. That just might be an outlier. But we're going to go on board with Chargers here and see what he has in store for us. Let's do a lap around the Belgian Grand Prix circuit and see what he does as he just went up Radion on the back straightaway. You look at the battery, already down to 35%. I don't know if that would be that low. But Mac T just upped his own personal best with a 41.415. And we'll see if he can keep it there as Chargers makes his way through turn 7. Past the Alpine there, I believe that is HVAC Toaster. I have a sound effect for him. We'll wait for the opportunity to do that, though. I think we'll do that at some point. But Chargers headed through turns 10 and 11, that long left-hander, which does not have as much curbing as it used to, and that is one thing to keep in mind, is that this track was scanned for this new game, and the curbs around this track, you notice they're a lot thinner than what they used to be, and that's probably a good thing considering you have a lot of high-speed corners around this track. But Chargers putting in a good time right now. We'll see if he can up his time from before, and we'll ride on board with him all the way to the finish. Battery down to 19%, getting every little bit of juice out of it that he can. Through the final 2 corners, the chicane right here, turns 18, 19, hard on the gas. That's my least favorite corner personally, but to the finish line, a 43.2. Good lap time there from Chargers, but right behind him on track. And I'm telling you, this guy right here, he's going to be a threat. He is HVAC Toaster. That's my little toaster sound effect. It's not as obvious as other sound effects, you know, because a toaster sound effect, it's not the most exciting thing in the world, but, you know, we do have a toaster on track, so, and I think he is backing off of a hot lap, so we'll check back in with him whenever he does put in a hot lap. But TJ, whoa, I don't know if you guys could hear that. There's some truck outside. I don't think that truck is going as fast as TJ, though. TJ is going at 200 miles an hour down the back straightaway at the end of Sector 1. He is down, though, by 7/10. I don't know if this is a flyer. Could be. Oh, he's skateboarding on those curbs, and he gets a piece of grass. This might not be the lap for TJ. Looks like Toaster's waiting for an opportunity there. F1 Nerd, 43.363, P8 right now. And I do want to, well, before I was talking about how, you know, there's some people that share setups with other people. There's some people that like to share, you know, because sharing is caring. But F1 Nerd, let me get all of them. F1 Nerd, Bats Plus, C-Freeze, and FND Cakes are all a part of the Freeze Foundation. You'll never guess who owns the Freeze Foundation, but they share setups with each other. They go over things, and they do have a voice chat. It's VIP, though. I'm not just going to give out the link to the voice chat, you know. That'd be like if I gave everyone the ability to get into Total Wolf's voice communications. You know, that wouldn't be the best idea in the world, but Wales looks to be cooling down, and Wales is one of the new drivers on the grid. And we will see what Wales has in store this season in that Kick Sauber. He is the lone Kick Sauber here tonight. But right now, Toaster is on a flyer. Let's go on board with Toaster, see what he's got. He is a former winner in TCR, and I gotta say, the way that he won his race, I think it was season 14. It was a while ago, but the safety car came on track and started racing with everybody. And no, I'm not just saying that for shits and giggles. That actually happened. And he was able to take advantage of the chaos and get on the top step of the podium. But we'll see if he's got something up his toasty sleeve here today as he goes by the Sauber right there. In Sector 3 now, and this is the fastest part of the racetrack right here. He's got all of his deploy used. You see at the bottom of the screen there, and boy, I'm a little intimidated right now. If you look at the left side of the screen, ladies and gentlemen, almost everybody is on track right now going for a hot lap, and HVAC Toaster gets a hot lap put in. Just squeezes his way into the 42s with a 42.981, and he is the only one who just finished a lap. Bats Plus, though, starting his lap, and we'll see what he's got in store. And if you didn't watch the podcast, Freeze and I talked about Bats Plus, and, you know, Freeze is on the Red Bull team, but he thought that he and Bats could be a good matchup for constructors this season, so, and I don't disagree. I think if they don't get top 5 in constructors, it'll be a disappointment. And honestly, I think if they don't get top 3 in constructors, it would be a disappointment. But we're going to see what Bats has in store. He goes a little bit deep there in turns 5 and 6, and he probably lost a lot of time right there. But, you know, the good thing about this track is that it is a whopping 7 kilometers in length. So Bats Plus has a lot of time to recover from his mishap, but I do want to look at B-Tom. He is starting the only lap that he will put on in this session, and we'll see just how fast he goes on this one lap. Didn't get much practice in before the race, but we'll see if practice is something that B-Tom needs. I don't know how much he needs of it, but it looked pretty good through Sector 1 there. We'll check back in with him in just a second as Bats Plus 2/10 down, which honestly not that bad considering that big mistake that we saw there in turns 5 and 6. But Bats Plus still has some battery. He's harvesting it right now. Time is up, so get your laps in. Bats Plus hard on the gas to the finish line. He puts up a 43 flat. Not bad considering the mistake. B-Tom, Sector 2 right now. Let's take a look at what kind of a lap time he is projected to get here. Oh, that's right, no delta. He didn't put in a lap before, but we'll see what he does. As FND Cakes comes across the line, finishes up his lap. Who else do we got? Is Mac T finishing up a lap? Ooh, it looked like Rafa maybe had a moment. Well, he puts up a 41.761, and that does not surprise me at all. And B-Tom to the line does not go pole position. 41.638. Mac T P1 right now. And you know what? He is on a lap right now. Let's see if he can get close to the TCR qualifying lap record. I'm going to say it doesn't happen. But he puts up a 41.269. That is a major statement there by the Alpine. New driver on the grid, and you know what? Seafree says it every year. You just don't know if we have someone that's going to surprise us. And GTR Lion finishes up his lap, gets up to P6. I got to mention Gio. I think he just went up a couple of spots. Gio up to P4 there. 2 new drivers up in the top 4, and so much for preseason predictions, right? I mean, we have just completely turned things on its head. We might need to do another podcast episode to do a preview, but that will do it. Mac T, first TCR start, first pole position. First pole position for Mac T in his first start. B-Tom second. Rafa Hulk third. Gio fourth. Mahmood fifth. This is quite the grid, man. I'm telling you, this is going to be a good race. This is going to be a good season. But hold your horses. We have some predictions to do, and oh boy, we got some raindrops. Ooh, I should probably tell people not to ready up, but I'm getting ready to do. Well, hold on, I gotta just let people know. Yeah, we'll ready up at 9:15 Eastern. Sure. All right, now we can get podium predictions underway. You know, I gotta go B-Tom P1. Just because I've seen a lot from him in comparison to Mac T. I'm ready. Are you guys ready? Put your podium predictions down in the chat. I'm going to go B-Tom P1. I'll go Mac T P2. And we readied up. Yeah, we readied up right away. Yeah. We got some new drivers on the grid. We'll sort that out for next time. But B-Tom P1, I'll go Mac T P2, and we will go. Yeah, we're in the rain. This really kind of throws a wrench into things. I'm going to go with Mr. Consistency, GTR Lion. I think he's going to be the one that doesn't make mistakes, and he'll get up there in P3. So I got B-Tom, Mac T, and GTR Lion in my podium predictions. But put your podium predictions down in the chat, and we'll get this show on the road. All right, and we take a look at our possible race strategies. It's looking like it's going to be inners all the way, so this could be a pretty straightforward one-stop race. But you never know. We've seen some crazy weather here in the past. We could get maybe TJ up there from the caboose to the front of the train, possibly. J&B has, let's see, he's got Mac T finishing P1 in his first start. That would be something we have not seen in a little bit, I don't think. I remember Bama did that back in season 16. There might have been someone that did it after that, but and then you've got B-Tom and Rafa Hulk, P2, P3. Yeah, that's two former champions right there, P2, P3. I've raced against both of them. They're both really good, but this is when you got to get those popcorns ready. And yes, I said popcorns. You need multiple because this start is going to be hectic. Get the drinks. Get comfortable because everybody is parking on the grid in their spots. And the question is, how good can people get off the line in these very, well, I wouldn't say very wet, but somewhat wet conditions. And you take a look at it, it looks like F&D Cakes was maybe taking a detour there. Or was that his partner in crime? That might have been F1 Nerd. But it looks like, oh, MacT can't park. But nonetheless, here we go. The wait is over. Season 20 is here. We got 5 lights on the grid. And it's time to go, go, go. Off the line, MacT gets a good jump. I don't think B-Tom got the best start, but he is still there in P2. He sends it on the outside with Rafa Hulk looking, sliding on the inside, and they are going off course in the back with F&D Cakes off-road, Chargers off-road. It looks like everyone else got away clean, but that has really shook things up in the back. At the front, B-Tom for P1. Let's see if he can do it. Down the back straightaway, burning the battery. I don't know. Is he going to try this to the inside? He gets to back out of it. And MacT stays in P1. We got some Freeze Foundation teammates going at it for P10 right here. Bats Plus gets a better end of it. And TJ, oh, I said that he could do something from the caboose, and he has gained 5 spots. And let's take a look at the positions gained and lost. Oh, he goes a bit deep, though, in the rain, and he may lose that spot here to Bats Plus, and yes, he does. Struggling maybe a bit in the rain. Wales gained 5 spots off the line, too, after that chaotic start. And you do see some people going wide, and I think B-Tom was just one of the victims who has gone wide on this first lap. Gio up to P2, gaining a couple spots off the line. Remsley, I hate to break it to you, we did not get our Spa 1998 start that I was maybe hoping to see. I'm not going to say I was, but, you know. I did make a prediction in the preseason podcast that we would have at least a 4-car pileup at some point this season, and who knows, maybe we'll get it today. As TJ loses another spot there, his initial start is not going as planned. He gained 5 spots off the line, and it looks like he's about to lose all of them here. Back down to P12, but Charger slides! And he nearly loses it, and he is side-by-side with F&D Cakes. Well, that was about as crazy as you can get on the first lap, unless if you actually want a Spa 1998 start, which I would prefer that not to happen. But nonetheless, the caboose are going at it right here. And let's see who's got the position. I think F&D Cakes is going to hold on to this. Up, El Rouge and Radion. In that order, by the way. El Rouge does come before Radion, and I don't want to hear any difference. Even if that debate was settled, I'm sure there's some people that may think otherwise, as F&D Cakes going back down to the caboose. And you know what? I think this is a good time to bring in the train because, well, you know, there's a conductor and there's a caboose. And I got to tell you, I got to give all of the props to the caboose of the train, give him all the love, and then go back up to the... Whoa. We were not supposed to hear that just yet. We will hear that at some point, though. I'm sure there's going to be someone that gets on the naughty list and gets a penalty, but from one end of the train to another, there's battles everywhere. But MacT doing a good job here in the first couple of laps. 6/10 ahead of fellow new TCR driver Gio, who just joined less than 24 hours ago as a full-time driver, and I'm glad he did because he is really making a statement here in that Haas. Doing a good job here in the first couple of laps. And Rafa Hulk, P4. GTR Lion did gain a spot there as, look at this. What is happening here? Gio, are you trying to jinx me? You're probably listening to me. I wonder what he's going to do here. Is he putting on slicks? Oh, this is bold, I gotta say. I don't know. I still see some raindrops out there. These guys are still going at it. Let's see if there's any spray. I don't know. Maybe Gio's got something going on there. Maybe he thinks the track is getting better. Chargers may say otherwise. But MacT looking pretty good. P7 switching hands. Wales. P8 right now, locking it up slightly. Hangs on to it though. And he is under fire here from F1 Nerd. And let's see if F1 Nerd takes a swing at him here in a turn 8. I don't think he's going to do it, at least for the time being. And Wales is the conductor of his own train, respectively, right now. Oh, but he goes off in the sand, and he's sliding off in the grass and makes a good save. But he's lost one spot, maybe two, to HVAC Toaster. They're going to go side by side in turn 10, and that did not work out for Wales. Oh, TJ trying to take the long way around, as Supertramp would say. And TJ, he did gain a spot from where he was a couple laps ago. And we'll see if he gains another here on the Kick Sauber. This is the battle for points, and swinging his way back to the inside. There's contact there, and TJ hangs on to it. Getting a little elbows out, getting a little off-road racing too there in the grass. I don't recommend doing that. And here they come. This is where things get spicy. MacT, B-Tom, both in the pits. And I think we're going to see some slick tires here the rest of the way. And I do want to point out that B-Tom put on the hards. MacT put on the hards. Gio put on the medium. So, and everyone's coming in the pits. Man, there's people coming everywhere. And this is fun. Look at this coming out of the pits. I like that camera shot, actually. That's a cool camera shot of B-Tom. And this has really flipped things on its head. You know, you really can't trust the Codemasters weathermen. But then again, you know, weathermen, it's one of those jobs to where it's like politicians. You could always be wrong and never lose your job. So I'm sure Codemasters hired maybe the intern, the intern to do the weather for us. But this is a good time to give us a helicopter shot of Gio, who is trying to make his way back up through the grid. And that was short-lived. MacT making his way through here to P7. This could be fun. B-Tom was able to get by him there. So net P1 for B-Tom here, and he's going to try and get Chargers, who is still on the inners, and Chargers going to give him a bit of a rough going here. But nonetheless, he gets by him. Now the question is, does MacT get by Chargers around the outside, and Chargers gives him the spot? Huh. Maybe, you know, maybe it's because... Is Alpine's a Mercedes car, right? So maybe he let the Mercedes car through, but didn't let the Ferrari car through. As Rafa Hulk did put on the medium tires as well, so he and Gio... This is super fun, actually. I like where this is going, as we have a good camera shot there from Chargers, but it doesn't give us... Ooh, I like that one better, actually, as Gio to the inside of Chargers, and Chargers just lost a 2-for-1 right there. And this may be his calling to come into the pits, and let's take a look. Yes, he does. The thing about Belgium, though, is that this is one of the trickier pit entrances. And yeah, you see the lap times getting better there as GTR Lion coming out of the pits, Mahmood coming out of the pits, Seafreeze is coming out of the pits, and F1 Nerd, and TJ, and Chargers. And what that has done is that has put B-Tom P1 on track. Ooh, good point, Remsley, about Chargers as, whoa, for a split second there, they were 3 wide, and Wales loses that spot to F&D Cakes. Yeah, that's not a bad point. If you take a look at Chargers' fuel, if you notice, it is in yellow, and we don't like to see that, right? The only yellow I like to see right now is the yellow on Charger's tires. I don't like to see yellow on that fuel gauge, and he may be a little bit low on the fuel as of now, so not the best start to the day for the Mercedes, but he might be able to get a spot here on Wales. That didn't get the best exit, but he's going to take a peek at him here. In the turn 8, oh, they're hitting each other. Banging off one another. But that was quite the way to muscle your way through for Chargers. And you know what? He might need to, I hate to say it, Chargers may need to charge the battery a little bit. Damn it, that didn't get the whole thing. Hold on. There we go. That's one of my new sound effects I've got for Season 20. I'm sure we'll use that more times than not as Season 20 rolls along. But to the line to start lap 6, B-Tom has almost stretched a 1 second gap, and maybe that's what he's looking for here by burning the battery. You know what? Mac T, he's also trying to burn the battery to stay up with him. And we have a caution for TJ. Looks pretty harmless. Chargers may have had a moment there. Anytime you see ghosts, it's usually not a good scenario, and that comes into play on the F1 grid too. You know, if you're seeing ghosts, whoa! And if you're seeing tire smoke, then you've got trouble brewing on your hands, and FND Cakes just went back to the Shadow Realm, back down into P12, but luckily for him, he might be able to get out of that Shadow Realm here. He's still within reaching distance of Chargers, and he may be able to take a swing at him here on the back straightaway before turn 5. Let's see if he's going to get this move done, and not yet. Oh, he has to back out of it, and Chargers goes back up to P11. Good stuff. And really kind of a spread out grid right now. So, and I gotta say, you know, I'm really impressed with what I've seen from Mahmoud so far in the preseason and in this race. The competition has definitely gotten better since season 19, and Mahmoud, he is not backing down at all. And as a matter of fact, I think he's actually gotten better from F1 24. So props to him up there in P6. And GTR Lion there just in front of him. And then in front of him, about 3 to 4 seconds up the road, you got Gio going for a podium. But I am curious, though, as to where those medium tires are going to be at in respective to the hard tires. And Mac T just put up a fastest lap there. Mahmoud. Wow. I guess that was a good time to talk about him, huh? Man, usually it goes the other way. Usually I mention him and then he spins out. That's what I do with these people. I mention them and then they flip. But no, Mahmoud actually, he heard me and he put up fastest lap. That might be the first time that's ever happened. That might be the first time I've ever called out a driver and then they go and get fastest lap. But you know what? Mahmoud is on a tear right now and he is up to P5. Yeah, J&B, this is really good. I think this is reflective of the fact that DRS isn't overpowering, and oh, TJ, I hate to break it to you, sir, but the police are hot on your tail for that one. 3-second time penalty, first driver on the naughty list, first season 20. You were not supposed to hear that drum roll at the end there. And he has 3 seconds. Oh, take a look at the screen, ladies and gentlemen. I think Mother Nature is toying with us like a hamster on a wheel. This is going to get nuts. And we have rain. We have rain. And now the question is, how much of rain do we have? Because this could really screw up strategy, and you know what? Rafa, Gio, and pretty much the rest of the grid may have been on the right side of things, because if we have to come in and pit, then they definitely played the strategy right, going with the faster tire right now. But I gotta say, though, their pace, you know, they gotta get up there to Mac T, and they gotta get up there to B-Tom. If this were his phone, BTOM would need to charge it pronto because it is at 5% right now. Typically, I don't like to have my phone at 5%, but, you know, you do you. GTR Lion back in front of Mahmood, and yeah, you look at the screen, this is when things get a little slippery, you know. A little bit slippery. This is not a slip and slide. These tires, they do not go well on a slip and slide. So once this does turn into a slip and slide, I wouldn't say it's a slip and slide right now, but it might be a slip and slide here in a couple seconds, as Rappa Hulk has a couple seconds on his resume. 3-second time penalty, and you know what? The police, they don't go away. Oh, sorry, that's not Rappa Hulk. And Seafreeze, welcome to the naughty list. I think people are pushing it here. Maybe slipping and sliding a little too much here. Oh my goodness! Holy cow, Seafreeze. Oh no, there he goes! And he just misses the wall. Seafreeze. Oh man. Well, you know what? I hate to break it to you, but you, sir, have just earned the first Price is Right losing horn of Season 20. That's a shame. But you know what? It is getting more... I'm telling you, it's getting more wet. It's getting very wet. There's certain places, oh my goodness, there's certain places where you can be wet, and there's certain places where you cannot be wet. And if you're on slick tires, you probably shouldn't be wet. If you're on slick, or if you're on, what's it called? If you're on inners, then that's fine. But, you know, if you're on slicks, then, I don't know. But let's check in with the front. Let's see how they're adapting to these conditions. Oh yeah, you see it right there. BTOM definitely not able to put the throttle down the way that he could maybe 2 or 3 laps ago. And this is where things get interesting. Kicking up the spice level just a little bit. You know, we're going from maybe jalapeno level to habanero level, but soon, depending on what Mother Nature gives us, we may be at ghost pepper level, and Whale's gonna make maybe a ghost pepper move here, and he backs out of it. Down to the caboose he goes, down to P14. Yeah, and this is where skill and strategy both come into play. You know, I say this all the time, you really need to be able to adapt. And this is one of those scenarios to where you need to be able to adapt. But we will see. We will see as GTR Lion, is he going to try a move up the inside, the king of the jungle? Does he have something in store here for Mr. Geo? Well, not at the moment, but you know what? We'll play the sound effect. Whoa. Don't mess with Lion or else you'll get eaten up. You'll get eaten up and you'll get thrown over that spectator. Whoa, oh no! Contact, and there goes Geo spinning out. Maybe an awkward situation there, and that resulted in Geo going around. And he's got damage. Oh, that's a shame there. You don't really see Lion get into many scuffles, so, you know, maybe we'll see afterwards. It looked like just an awkward scenario, but I don't know. But nonetheless, GTR Lion up to P5 and then up to P4. Getting a couple spots, and he's doing it at the right time because we may be getting some pit stops, and F&D Cakes is the first one to bite the bullet. He comes in and puts on those spiffy green inners. Hold your horses, ladies and gentlemen. We may be getting more pit stops. I gotta say, BTOM, he's doing a good job, but I'm telling you, the competition this season has definitely gotten better. You know, a lot of the same drivers returning, and honestly, a lot of them have gotten better, but anytime you add new drivers, and especially if they're quick, it's going to be harder to win the championship, as DRS has been disabled. So this is when I think you're going to see BTOM and company come into the pits. And B-Tom really struggling here, just trying to get into the pit lane. And here he comes. Mac-T as well, and Mac-T really sending it in deep here, trying to get every little mile an hour that he can. Rafa Hulk into the pits as well. Let's just take a look at everybody here, seeing how they navigate this pit road. GTR Lion, King of Jungle as we call him, in the pits. Mahmood in the pits. Bats Plus. Whoa! Did he get damaged there? That was sketchy. And Gio in the pits. Boy, this could not have come at a better time for Gio. He can go and change that wing, kind of hit the reset button, and he's going to lose spots though, so he'll probably still get points, but let's see where he comes out. Oh yeah, that's unfortunate. Down to P10 and off he goes. Bats Plus P8, HVAC Toaster P7, and here they come out of the pits. Seafree staying out, one of the only drivers on slicks, and that may change here depending on Wales. Yeah, Wales going to stay out, so 2 drivers still on slick tires, and I think Seafree's maybe trying something here. Maybe, you know, let's see if he has something up his C sleeve. I will not say that again. That was not a good pun. Something up his sleeve, though. You know, we'll see if he has something up his sleeve here. He's going quite slow, though. I think he might need to go with the majority here and just take the inners. Take the tires and just, you know. Sometimes it's good to follow the crowd, you know. If you're at a sports event and, you know, you're trying to find where you parked once you leave the event, you know, maybe that's a good scenario where you just follow the crowd and you just, you know. Or if you're trying to get to a sports event, you know, if the GPS is acting up, just follow the crowd. It's not the worst thing in the world. But we will see Seafreeze come into the pits, and I think Wales is going to have to make a pit stop too. He just lost a spot to Chargers, and based on the delta, I'm going to say he probably made a mistake right there, as HVAC Toaster losing a spot here to Gio, and I think Gio might be a little bit hungry here to get a couple spots back and get up to P7 and maybe more. And Wales, did Seafreeze come in the pits? He did not. That's interesting. Let's take a look at Wales here. And Wales going to stay out as well. Interesting. J and B, dude, that's priority, honestly. Whoa! Wow! Save of the day goes to Gio right there. He was looking straight at the wall. Oof. And he comes out of there alive. Yeah, J and B, I'm the same way, man. Like, I do go-kart racing as well, and it doesn't interfere with TCR necessarily, but, you know. Yeah, I think that definitely comes first. That's if you can get into a real race car, do it. And there's nothing wrong with this, you know. There's nothing wrong with a Tuesday night here in TCR. Sim racing's fantastic, you know. I think that nowadays that's kind of how you learn how to race, to be honest with you, is through sim racing. But if you can get on a real racetrack, absolutely go for it. And I think Seafreeze right now probably wishes he were on a real racetrack and not in the situation he's in. As HVAC Toaster around the outside, he makes easy work of Seafreeze, and this may be Seafreeze's sign to put in the white flag and come in the pits, and he is struggling mightily just to get back to the pits. It doesn't make sense to stay out right now. I think my grandma might be going faster than Seafreeze right now. As a matter of fact, my great-grandma might be going faster than Seafreeze right now, and she's dead. Wales as well. Wales down to 60 miles an hour there in turn 14. That may be your sign, sir, to come into the pits. And there he comes, in the pits. And now we get to look at this battle at the front because we do have a helicopter shot. Well, we did, of MACT. And this is where things are interesting because DRS is not active. So this is strictly based off of what you can do behind the wheel in these conditions. And B-Tom, roughly 10 laps away from that 50th win, that big milestone that nobody else have been able to get to in TCR history. And he is also looking for an 8th championship, and I did go against him in my preseason podcast predictions, if you want to check that out. I don't know, maybe this is the season where things change, but I'm telling you, I like what I see out of MACT. I think he could definitely be right there with him throughout the season. And you know what? We don't even have J&B on the grid. We don't even have Capitan on the grid. There's a couple of fast drivers. I didn't even mention everybody that are not here tonight. So you never know. But oh, and Rafa Hulk again. Oh boy. We're getting the SWAT team on you. We're getting the National Guard. We're getting the Air Force. We're getting everybody. Because that is now, what do we got? 6 seconds. But you know what? I mean, if he gets a bit of a gap over line, he could get the podium, but I don't want him to do that because as of now, based off of penalties, my podium prediction is spot on. And I can probably count on one hand the amount of times I've ever done that, so that would be awesome if I could get a podium prediction accurate. But, you know, Lion, he is super consistent, doesn't make many mistakes, and he's up there in the top 4, obviously quick, but he's not getting any penalties, so, you know, he's 5 seconds back of Rafa Hulk right now, but sometimes that's all you need, especially if Rafa Hulk is in handcuffs in the back of a police car because of too many track warnings. Then, you know, sometimes that's all you need. Ooh, he might have gone wide there, right there, in turn 10. That really long left-hander. I actually want to go on board with Gio right here to show you how different the corner is since they scan the track. You take a look at those curbs on the left-hand side that you just saw. They are a lot thinner than what they were on F124. And I think that's probably a good thing because, man, in previous games, you go into that corner and you basically pray that the curbs don't eat you alive. So I think that that was definitely a good decision to get rid of those curbs and kind of slice them down a little bit. You know, it's like a pizza. You know, you don't want to fill yourself up too much and then you're on the toilet for 30 minutes. You know, you might want to just thin it down a little bit when you cut the pizza. Or if you're at Taco Bell, you know, you don't want to go too heavy on the burritos. Because you will be on the toilet for quite a bit if you do that. But Gio looking for a solid finish after his little scuffle that he got into in turn 1 a few laps ago. I think if I were him, I would definitely take a P6. I think his pace was definitely faster than 6, but nonetheless, he has done a good job this race. And I gotta take a look at Mahmoud. This battle for P3, not over. Rafa Hulk is starting to get towards 6 seconds ahead of GTR Lion, but you know what? Mahmoud is there on GTR Lion, and you know, if you're a mathematician, this is the battle for P3, but I did notice that Rafa Hulk, he kind of crept above 6 seconds right there a moment ago. And there he is, 6 seconds ahead of GTR Lion, so he could still get that podium, even with those penalties. If you look at the battery right here, about the same, and that's something that's different on this game, is that it's easier, I feel like, to at least get some battery back. You know, you're not going to get back up to 100%. And that's not how it should be, but I feel like on this game, if you go below 10%, it's probably easier to get back up and get into the 30-40 range. Now, if you're trying to get up to the 80-90 range, you know, that's a different animal. That's like a lion that you're dealing with right there. And oh, well, you know what? I'm not even going to call the police. I'm just going to give you this. Hold on. I'm just going to give you this because that sucks. And you know, Wales, he had a solid race going there until his issue with the strategy, maybe putting on the wets, and now he's put on mediums. You know, hey Wales, this may be breaking news to you, but you can put on the inners. You know, it's not going to kill you. Well, it might, depending on if you crash, but, you know, it's not going to kill you. It could. But it's not going to. And take a look at that. B-Tom, 1 second up the road from MacT. I don't think we're going to get any safety cars this race. These guys have done a good job at not throwing it into the barrier nose first. But I did make a prediction in the preseason podcast that we would either have a 4-car pileup this season or we would have a flip. What do you think? What do you guys think? A big crash or a flip? What do you think is more likely for season 20? But B-Tom did cross the line. We have, what do we have? 6 laps to go. So, doing a good job so far, B-Tom, considering no practice and considering MacT has been hot on his tail the whole race. B-Tom's done a good job, and he is in position to start off season 20 the way that he finished season 19. And if he were to win this race, B-Tom would go 3 in a row between season 19 and season 20. He did win Portugal and Australia last season to finish off the season as Bats Plus in the pits, along with F1 Nerd. And oh, we have another weather change, ladies and gentlemen. It is dry, and it has come at the best time possible for me as a commentator because I get to watch people make pretty big decisions here. Do they stay out or do they come in? I don't know, man. I would come in, but it's only 5 laps to go. You never know. You never know. D-Freeze putting on soft. That's what I would go with, honestly, at this point in the race. You know, you're looking at 5 laps to go. I know the softs don't do well here, but it's 5 laps. It really shouldn't make a huge difference, I don't think. But we're about to find out here as TJ going a little dirt track race in there, sliding out of the pit exit, and he's going to lose possibly DRS range to C-Freeze here. And now, well, you know what? I gotta give Wales some props. He was the first one to come in last lap. He might have been ahead of the curve. Take a look at this. In the pits, B-Tom and MacT, and this may be the winning move here. How quickly do you get in and out of the pits as F1 Nerd gets on the naughty list? I'm going to keep the police away for now because this is a big moment. Ooh, that was a bit slow there, I think, for MacT. I don't know if that was just me, but I think B-Tom has a slam dunk right here. Oh, and there he goes. MacT slides. And that should do it. And interesting, nobody took a chance on staying out. I think it just shows you how quick this track changed. Take a look at this, though. Lion comes out of the pits behind the lap car of Whale. He could get DRS here. And the thing is, though, he's gained time on Rafa Hulk in this pit cycle. So regardless of DRS, this could be a podium here for GTR Lion. It was looking like it may not happen because Rafa got over 6 seconds ahead of him, which is what he needs right now, based off of penalties, but you never know. He is starting to pull a gap, though, pretty quickly as DRS is enabled. Okay, so there we go. So now, I think the race for the win is over. I think B-Tom has put in yet another masterclass here in Belgium. It would be at least the second consecutive season that he has won here in Spa. And this time it would be to kick off season 20. Maxi, he had a great race, but just not the best pit cycle, and he ended up making that mistake coming out of the pits. This battle for P12, at least on track, is looking pretty spicy right now, but FNDK is going to lose that spot. But you know what? He's going to get P12 if nothing happens based off of penalties. I don't know if... I think Seafree's probably out of reach, but well, you never know. Ooh, and in the grass. Oh, sliding is TJ. It might be too late for a safety car, and quite frankly, I don't think you should try it. I don't think you should test it. You know, there's some things that can be tested, some things that can't be tested. If you're testing to see if you're pregnant, then that's reasonable. But if you're testing to see if you could bring out a safety car with 3 laps to go, I would probably say no. But I do want to take a look at this battle for points. It looks pretty clear-cut as Seafreeze has penalties. He's down in P11. F1 Nerd has penalties, but he's a bit up the road from Chargers, so I think Chargers is looking at a P10. F1 Nerd looking at a P9. Considering he hasn't done much laps on this game so far, not bad. Not bad at all. Sorry, Bass, that's my fault. I looked at you right as you got that penalty, but... HVAC Toaster, P7. Geo, P6, and I think he could have gotten maybe P3. The way that things are shaping up here, Lion could be in for a P3 based off penalties, and that's where Geo was before his incident, so he could have been up there. But nonetheless, a great debut here for Geo in that Haas. Mahmoud, I'm telling you, great speed from him this season. This is, out of everyone on the grid from last season, I think he's improved the most just from what I've seen. Great stuff here. Possibly going for a P4 depending on penalties. So, and really, if you look at people who are up here, Mac T wasn't on the grid last season, Rafa Hulk wasn't on the grid last season, Geo wasn't on the grid last season, so the fact that Mahmoud is essentially, you know, up there with the championship guys from last season, you know, really good stuff. And I think we're going to see Mahmoud up here in the podium a handful of times. And I've been waiting for that. You know, Mahmoud's always been quick, but for whatever reason, he has yet to quite get a podium finish. He's been close, but I think this is the season where it's going to materialize, and we're going to get the most out of the Bahraini driver. One of the only foreign drivers, actually. This has kind of become an American series, with the exception of Mahmoud, HVAC Toaster, and F1 Nerd, I believe. Oh, and Rafa Hulk. Rafa is a reserve, by the way, but Rafa Hulk is a proud Brazilian, so... yeah, this is pretty much the TCR American series, but the American of B-Tom is 2 laps away, but you notice that gap has gotten a bit smaller, so all it's going to take is 1 penalty from B-Tom, and MacT is right back in this. And this battle for P3 not over just yet. That gap has been fluctuating from like 5.1 to 5.5. Not over just yet. And really, Mahmoud, like I said, one penalty can change everything, and it's not over just yet. It's not over until the fat lady sings, as I think Toaster just had a moment there, but I don't think that's going to affect him on track. I don't think Bats Plus is going to get to him, and even if he does, I mean, 3 seconds in penalties, straight to the naughty list. I gotta say, I mean, maybe B-Tom's trying to go for fastest lap here in the last lap, maybe trying to spice things up, but MacT's closing quite a bit. I don't think it's going to be enough. You look at the battery, B-Tom's at 100%, but and you know, B-Tom, he's been in this scenario many times. Prof, I just saw your comment. Yes. I agree. Yeah, you know, maybe he should be called C-Dry. Maybe that would help him out. But anywho, approaching the final lap, and B-Tom may be going for fastest lap right here, because the fastest lap holder right now is Mahmoud with a 45.568, and B-Tom is only a couple of tenths off of that, so I think this could be easy for B-Tom if he's got the battery, considering he's only got a few laps on those tires. But we're going to find out right here on this final lap. MacT just put in a fastest lap, but he did it on that lap. Now B-Tom has his chance at fastest lap, so I think he's going to hang on here and go for the win. I don't know if he's going to get the TCR race lap record. Oh, there we go. The race lap record is a 43.512, which was put up by J&B last season in season 19. Can B-Tom get in the 43s? I feel like that would be maybe a tall task. MacT just put up a 44.824, but how hard was MacT pushing there? That's the question. I think this could be a new record in TCR for fastest lap for B-Tom. He's got the qualifying lap record back in season 11. He could be adding to the record book with a race lap record, and he could be adding another victory to get up to a half century with number 50, 2 seconds ahead. He's looking pretty sporty right now to get that 50th win and start off season 20 with a dub. And he will maintain the points lead that he finished last season with his 7th championship, and now he's going for an 8th championship this season and going for a milestone win as he comes to the finish line. 50th win for B-Tom. He wins the Belgian Grand Prix Round 1 fastest lap of 44.202. So J&B, you get to keep your race lap record. MacT, a great debut, P2 for him. This is what we're looking at, though. Rafa Hulk to the finish line, but where does Lion finish? In comparison, he does not get Rafa Hulk by 1/10. GTR Lion P4, Mahmoud P5. Rafa Hulk hangs on to the podium. His first TCR podium in quite a bit, actually, so this will be fun to be able to talk to him in the interviews. Gio, a good finish for his debut, P6. Toaster, P7 in his return. Bats Plus P8. Probably would have wanted a better finish, but in his return, he gets some points. F1 Nerd, in his return, gets some points. And Chargers coming to the finish line. We'll wait for Chargers. There he is. P10 on the board. Seafreeze. Where's Seafreeze? That's not Seafreeze. Where? Oh, there's Seafreeze. Seafreeze P11. TJ P12. F&D Cakes, is he going to overtake him? I don't know. He may stick with P13 and Wales P14. And yes, F&D Cakes unfortunately misses P12 by about a 10th. See, that's why I like this game, because DRS, not as big of a deal. You really get to see these drivers do what they got to do, and, well, a new game, some things don't change. B-Tom gets on the podium, and, oh man, I was a tenth of a second away from nailing my podium prediction. I had Lion P3, but Rafa Hulk, great stuff from him. And that's a good way to start off Season 20. A good, clean race, with the exception of maybe a small incident that may be going to the stewards afterwards, but yeah, well, you know. Oh, this is what I like. Okay, let's see. Race winner, fastest lap, both go to B-Tom. Driver of the day goes to HVAC Toaster and Seafreeze. Most overtakes. Why does it say that I'm already friends with Toaster, but not B-Tom and Seafreeze? That's interesting, but Seafreeze with the most overtakes. Where did he finish? Oh, that's in general. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's super cool. I like the fact that we have this. That's super cool, and I love this game, the fact that they've got features like this. But we are going to talk to our podium finishers here in the post-race interview. Stick around for that. We'll get to see what these guys have to say here. And we will get in the showroom here and get ready to talk to the podium guys. Ooh, I've got a GIF there in the top right corner. I'll have to go check that out afterwards, but we will talk to our podium guys in just a moment. Let's see. We got B-Tom, we got Mac T, and we got the Brazilian of Rafa Hulk. Just want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. I saw a lot of people on the YouTube side of things, and this was a great start to Season 20. Good first race. We will have more people next race. I'm counting on it, honestly. Well, maybe not. Maybe week 3. So I know there's a few people that can't make the first couple of races, but I think week 3 will definitely have, if not a full grid, maybe 18 people. I think 18 people would be a good number, but we are going to get things started right away because B-Tom, I don't think we've talked in a little bit. So first things first, how's it going? I scared him away.
Hello?
Hello.
Okay. I was trying to transfer it to my PlayStation. I was like, oh, you need to sign in and all that stuff. Like I don't join the party and Discord to PS all the time. So,
yeah.
Yeah, we're good now though.
Cool. So, yeah, man, how have you been? I've heard you've been a little bit busy recently with, is it school? Is it job? Or what's going on?
Yeah, so I've been taking a programming class this summer, and then, yeah, I've been working 2 jobs, and that sort of thing, so. And then tonight I was just busy. Didn't get back home until like 8:58, something like that, so. Didn't really have any time to practice, but ball is usually a better track for me, so. I wasn't too concerned. But, yeah, it's been a busy summer, but busy in a good way.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's great. If you're able to stay busy, then that's the way it should be. You know, no matter what you're doing, just stay busy. But you, considering you didn't have any practice, you put up a really good race, actually. No major mistakes from what I saw, but was it as good behind the wheel? Did I miss any mistakes, or was it a pretty straightforward race for you?
made one early on. I think it was lap 1, maybe. I was just trying to put a bit of pressure on my T. Then I got on the overtake slightly too early. I didn't push the overtake button. I have like the ERS up and down mapped to buttons on my wheel, but they're starting to go bad. So sometimes it doesn't switch down when I wanted to or switch up when I wanted to. So there are some scenarios where I'm in the wrong ERS mode and not harvesting when I should be, or deploying overtake in the middle of a corner. But besides that mistake through Pouan and maybe struggling a little bit in the second phase when the rain hit again, I think it was pretty good. Race pace was strong. So yeah, I don't think I made any mistakes outside of that.
So one thing I noticed is that since the track got scanned, the curbs in some of the corners were smaller, and Pouan is one of those corners where the curbs were smaller. Do you think that was things a little bit different for you, or was it pretty much the same old Belgium, even with the slight changes in the track?
I think it's the same as last year's game, if I'm not mistaken, but there's slight differences in how you drive it. For example, like, I think it's out of the last corner in Sector 2, the gravel's like right at the edge, whereas I don't think it was like that in previous games. So that's like one of those things you have to keep in mind. If you run a bit wide, the consequences are a bit greater, but for the most part, the way you drive is pretty much the same. Nothing too crazy that's different.
And then I got to bring up MacT, because for most of the race, it was pretty much you two going at it. And then during the pit cycle, there was some sort of a hiccup by his crew, it looked like. He was a little slow getting out of the pit box, and then he made a slight mistake on pit exit, maybe just trying to get a little too much. But throughout most of the race, you guys were pretty much neck and neck. So, yeah, what did you think of just you guys going at it? It seemed like he had a lot of pace.
Yeah, with the pit lane thing, I think, I could be wrong, but I have a feeling that unsafe pit release was off. So there was like, I think early in the race there was a scenario where I pitted, and then somehow I came out in front of him. And then for the second round of stops, I lost like a second, maybe 2 seconds in the pits. And then it happened to him again the last time. I think he also made a bit of a mistake on pit exit, just got a bit squirrely because tires were cold and the track was very low grip once we switched back to the slicks to end the race. But yeah, it was weird, but didn't seem to have a massive impact on the race, I don't think. But
okay,
yeah, hopefully it doesn't happen again, because I imagine the margins will be quite small in future races.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I'll make sure that that's turned on for next race. That obviously shouldn't have been off, but if it was, then I'll just make a little mental note just to put that in for next week.
Yeah. But all in all, it was fun racing him. We didn't really have a whole lot of wheel-to-wheel action. It's mainly just me overtaking him in the pits, and then again, there was like certain phases where I was a bit quicker, mainly on the slicks, and then there were some phases where he was a bit quicker on the wets mainly, so or the enters. So yeah, it was an interesting race. It was fun. You don't really see races like that often, where it's wet, dry, wet, or dry, wet, dry. So, well, actually, it was wet, dry, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
So
it was hard to keep up with.
It was fun to have something like that, especially in the opening round of a season. So, it'd be nice to get a couple more rounds like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't know if you saw the podcast, but I didn't pick you for the championship. You know, we're switching things up a little bit, so I kind of want you to prove me wrong here.
Okay.
But
who was your pick?
Basically, I had a cop-out answer, and I said it's not going to be you, but I didn't really say who it was. So
okay.
I have someone in mind. I just don't want to jinx them, you know.
I gotcha. Yeah.
They weren't here tonight. Let's just put it that way.
It's powerful. Let's just say that. So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if you hear that. There's someone doing burnouts outside right now.
No, I can't hear that.
That's crazy. There's literally someone doing burnouts outside right now.
That's insane.
Holy crap. There's multiple people, actually. I just moved out recently, and there's been a lot of... There's been a handful of people that have big trucks, and they kind of like to show their big trucks. But I think that's the first time that's happened, so that's interesting. But yeah, man, great start to the season, and hopefully you can get that 8th championship. I want to be proven wrong, so go get it.
Yeah, that's the goal. Again, I think I mentioned it a bit before the start of the season. Once the semester starts, fall semester starts, I might not be able to make some races, which will make things quite challenging, but I'll make as many as I can and give it a good go. But yeah, I'm just gonna enjoy it, really. So it'd be nice to have an 8th title, but if I don't get it, that's also okay.
Right on. Well, since you were the lone wolf who decided to join me tonight in the interviews, I think that will wrap it up for tonight. And I gotta say, a good first race, not just on track, but I saw a lot of people watching, and a good clean race to start off season 20. So I think it's a good sign of what's to come. But next week, we will be in Bahrain for round 2, and if I had a nickel for every time that Bahrain was round 2, I would have a lot of nickels. So we will be in Bahrain next week for round 2, and Bahrain's always a good show, so make sure to tune in for that. But for now, that will do it, and we will see you next week in Bahrain. Have a good night.